here's the mount finally finished, and as you can see, this is how the brackets mount on there. This one's not too hard to put together either, so that's a good thing. You do have 8 bolts, and then the 2 smaller plates go in the back of this, and that's what holds the 2 bars. And like I was saying before, this is gonna give me a little more wiggle room for the TV to the left and the right because of these. They're a little bit longer than the first one I did. However, what I don't like about this one is that they don't include a template on there that I can use instead of having to hold the mount all the way up there. I mean, I can do it, but or anybody can do it, but just nice that you have that. Just makes the job a little easier. You just tape it up, and that's something I forgot to say. The tape that they include on the other one, that was useless. It didn't work, so you just use regular tape, and you're fine. Now, I was just reading the manual. I do like to read the manuals to make sure I don't miss anything. And the lag bolts, these black lag bolts on the manual, it's there's a caution here. Let's see if I can get it on there. It says, ensure the wall plate is securely fastened to the wall before continuing to the next step. These anchors are for concrete or brick walls only. Do not use them in drywall or wood studs. But everything you have here, it's wood studs. And on the next page, they tell you to drill 4 pilot holes using a 7/32 or 5.5 millimeter diameter drill bit onto the studs. So I guess you just want to be aware of that. They look like regular lags to me, but I could be wrong, so just chime in on there if I get that wrong. Let's see, what else did I want to mention on this particular model versus the other one? I do still prefer the other one, but the other one only goes up to 60, I think, and this was up to 70-inch TV, I think it was. The other one's more of a one piece versus this one. This one, it's sort of a one piece. I say sort of because you still have to put this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces together, and then you attach it to the other plate with 4 bolts here, and those are the same ones you use to tilt it sideways or adjust it sideways, which is similar to the Harbor Freight. The other one is just one big square here, which that's kind of nice, but I just didn't like the mounting for the other one because it was really painful. And this one's already on there, and I don't have to deal with the individual screws when I put the TV on, since it uses those types. I can just put the wall mount, make sure everything's level, and then just mount the TV, and that's it. The other one, we had to hold the TV, and while I was screwing things on, it was just a nightmare. It does work, but it's just a pain to do. And so those are the other screws that I have left on here. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to show you. On here, they don't include those plastic inserts for the concrete. I'm not sure why they didn't include that, because the other 2 mounts that I have, the first one here and the Harbor Freight, did include all that. So this one, I'm still missing that. It's not. I like that they included these bolts, longer bolts, because Samsung definitely need the longer bolts. As I said before, it's curved, so you need the longer bolts with the spacers. On top of that, everything else seems to be okay. I like the bigger washers, or wider, so that they don't go into the holes for the actual TV. Other than the lag bolts that I just mentioned and the other inserts that are missing and the template, I think I'm gonna be okay. I may just reuse what I have as far as the other lag bolts, which are similar to these. They look almost the same, so just need to find the center of everything just to make sure I get it on the right spot this time. Because one other thing, don't ever assume that the holes for another TV are gonna be or they do work on this, but don't assume that the height is going to be the same, because it wasn't. That was another lesson I learned. The height was still, even though I put it higher by an inch because there was another uh, hole on the top, it was still too low. So now I'm just going to go and start over from scratch, meaning take the other ones off, make sure I find the center of the studs, measure from the bottom of the mount here. Once I put it on the TV, I'm going to put it on there, measure the bottom of the mount to the bottom of the TV, and the top, and then the sides, and just make sure I add a couple inches or take inches depending on what I need, and to make sure that it's center where it needs to be, because, well, that was a lot of work, and it just turning wasn't right on where we needed it, and it's still kind of crooked. So it's, we just left it at that because it was a long day, but we're gonna be just doing that, or I'm just gonna be redoing that and making sure I get this one on there so that 65-inch TV is where it's supposed to be. And by the way, those TVs are heavy, even though they're thin. They're heavy, and I just went to Costco and I saw that they have 85-inch TVs now. So if you do this for a living, you better have two people minimum picking those things up, because even though they're thin, they're pretty heavy. And make sure that the other mounts are the correct ones, because some of these, I don't know if I even want, even though this one says 70-inch TV, I'm not sure if I want to actually put a 7-inch TV on here. If you need a wider back plate, you can look for back plates that have 24-inch studs as well as 16, which is just going to be wider. I think that's what those wider mounts are, because everything I've gotten for this one is up to 70 inches. The other one I got is up to 60 or 65. I forget. I'm a little under it, but both of these are actually about the same length, just over the 16-inch studs, if you will. And that's pretty much it. So this is the Everview mount, and then you can check out the other ones I did. They're so far, I think they will both work. I am liking my other one, my first one, because even though it's not as wide as this one to give me wiggle room here, I like that they included a template. That was good, and they included everything you needed, even including the other plastic inserts for concrete. So that was nice. I do like that it's more of a one piece. I didn't have to do any screwing of parts on the first one. This one I did, but I chose this one because it gave me a little more wiggle room. So it's just one of those things. You just got to do it and try and see what works best, or what you like, whatever mount works best for whatever TV you're doing. I just happen to be helping someone do this, and well, there you go. That's what I'm learning.